right, one way to clean your table is to knock your water over. Okay, so we have our tumbler. We have denatured alcohol, coffee filter to clean it. I have a container for my tacky glue. I have water. I have my Mod Podge brush. I have my silicone brush. I have this guy, so depending on whichever one I decide I want to use. I have my glitter. I have freezer paper to capture my glitter. And I have original Elaine's tacky glue. I'm going to attempt to do it with the turbo tacky glue. I looked for some earlier at Michael's and they didn't have it. So when I find some, I'll do it and see what a difference that makes. So we're going to start by just cleaning our tumbler with the denatured alcohol. Now on this one, I am going to glitter the entire thing. All right. So I have my tacky glue. Getting this stuff to come out sometimes is a chore. Sorry. Ooh. So we'll put a little bit of water in there. So some people say 50-50. I go a little bit less than 50-50. What I'm basically looking for is the consistency of pancake batter. And then mix it good. Hey, Chloe, do you need Benadryl, love? My poor dog, she has allergies and she just scratches. We give her grain-free food, oatmeal baths, all kinds of stuff for allergies, but sometimes she just needs Benadryl. You guys probably hear her all the time in the background scratching. Okay, so as you can see, it's like pancake batter consistency. Get this little thing here. So again, this is just a piece of cardboard and the Cricut vinyl tube, and it is super helpful. I'm gonna use my Mod Podge brush. I like the Mod Podge brush just because it does give such nice, even glue. I'm just going to cover the whole thing. And you want it to be just a nice, thin, even layer. Because otherwise, as it gets tacky and you start to put your glitter on it, because you'll have spots that are wet. Now, honestly, you can either let this dry for a bit and then put on your glitter. You can put it on right away, let it dry, and then do the rub in, whichever way works for you. Again, I've done that both ways also. Just like to make sure it's really nice and even so that it dries even. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glitter on, and then I'll let it dry that way after. And I just pour my glitter. Oh, I knew I was going to love this color. I'm going to just let this rest on here and dry. For about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so we're back. It's been about 10 minutes, and I'm going to now take it off and burnish it. Now, I like to use a gloved finger. I use just these little finger cuts like this to put it on. I did a pretty thin coat, so I feel like I should be good, maybe not. We'll see. So sometimes when it's not been enough time, I'll go in and pat it. This tumbler that has not been painted or scratched, I feel like you probably will need to leave it a little bit longer. Because although you want it tacky, you don't want it wet, and like right now it's still actually kind of wet. So I'm going to just go in and push it all down like this. And then I'll do my second coat and let it dry longer. So now to put on the second coat, I like to use this little sponge. And just push it in. More. I'm going to use my solo cup here. Put it under this way. This is the one I told you. Look, see this? These things are so nice when you want to do a cup all the way down to the end. Just using these red solo cups, It actually gives you something else to hold on to. Made some areas very thin while I was packing it in. Like this second coat looks like super fantastic. I don't think it'll need it. So if you use the solo cup, make sure you cut the bottom out of it if you're gonna put it on a dryer like this. All right, so we are going to let this pretty girl dry. Looks very nice. The color looks fantastic. It's covered well. So this time I am not gonna be so hasty. I'm gonna probably let it dry maybe 20 minutes to where it's lightly tacky but not wet. Okay? All right, so I'll see you back in about 20 minutes. All right, guys, we are back. So this time I ended up letting it sit and dry for about 45 minutes. I think that on the steel tumbler, not painting it or not doing sandpaper does require it to have to dry a little longer. So now I'm just going in and I'm just really rubbing the glitter in. And anything that falls is fine because this is glitter that would not have stayed anyways because it really isn't adhered to the cup. So remember, when you're doing this, it's a very light rub. And if you get to any spots that are more than tacky, that are maybe a little wet, and I noticed that more on the second coat if I didn't let the first coat dry really well, because I'll find that in order to fix spots, I've put a little bit heavier hand of glitter on it. Or I mean glue. So just a nice light hand. Just make sure that your glitter is just really tight on your cup. There's lots of different ways to put your glitter on your cups. I love this tacky glue method because I really do like the idea of being able to just push the glitter in like this so nicely. I just think it makes it look absolutely beautiful. So what I would say is I think that if you paint the cup beforehand, and if you take some sandpaper and rough up the surface a bit, I think that it's a little bit easier because I think it grabs your glue better. However, again, it really doesn't matter. It still comes out beautiful. And as far as the glitter itself goes, I mean, this is very, very fine glitter, and you can see that it really has covered nicely. It's only 2 coats with very fine glitter, so honestly, I think that even if it were painted, I would have to do 2 coats. So this really turned out so nice. Now, from here, I will seal it before I put it on my tumbler for resin. I will put 1 coat of Mod Podge just to seal the glitter into the cup. Now, I'm putting this on for resin. I was asked about using something other than resin. So on these cups, I will be honest, I haven't used anything other than resin. However, there are certainly other things you can use. So you could do multiple coats of Mod Podge and seal it that way. I've certainly done that on wine glasses before, as well as coffee cups. And then you could also use the clear coat glaze. That would give it a nice top cover as well, because I know that the resin can certainly be expensive, and as well as buying a cup turner. So the clear coat glaze you can get for a few dollars, and I think that would work really well. I also know that there is a Mod Podge sealing spray. I have bought some, I just have never used it yet. So I do think that there are other options. It doesn't have to be just resin. And turned out well. I hope that this was helpful. Good morning, I'm back. So I have my resin all mixed, and here's our cup from earlier. Now I did let this dry overnight after I put the Mod Podge on it to seal it. So a question did come up if you're unable to do epoxy or resin on your cups. So I did talk about the triple thick, that will work, and I don't want to leave out though Mod Podge. So this is only 1 layer of Mod Podge on here. It's nice and hard. You know, you would honestly have to do multiple coats of Mod Podge to get a really good seal on it, but you definitely can use Mod Podge. So it's not going to be quite as shiny as using the resin. However, you can see it still makes a beautiful cup. The cup looks gorgeous, even with Mod Podge on it. So now, I think maybe if I were going to only use Mod Podge, I'd probably put another coat of glitter. So I'd probably do a 3rd coat of glitter. Not because you can see anything through it, but I just think it would probably make it that much more vibrant, since you're not having the resin to bring out that vibrant look to it. All right, so we are going to apply our epoxy. So this cup is, I mean, everything's adhered beautifully. Remember, it wasn't painted underneath, nor did I sand it. You know, I think that sanding helps the initial adhering though, so if you have the ability to do that, I would definitely recommend it. However, we just wanted to see the point of, if you don't have the ability to sand it, would it be okay? And the answer is yes. This fine glitter, like this glitter that I used is so, like, it's super fine glitter. And the color is beautiful, but this stuff really does take a lot of resin. Now this one doesn't need it, but you know, I do sometimes with these fine glitters, when I get the resin on this first coat like this, I'll go through and just sprinkle more glitter on the cup, especially if I've only done 1 or 2 coats of glitter. Always worried though about taking away that really pushed in burnished look though when I do that, because it's the whole purpose of using the tacky glue. Although I do see people using, putting their glitter straight into the resin and just doing it that way, and they say it's faster. I might try that and just see, you know, what the difference, if it looks any different. If it doesn't, then so much of it honestly is just preference. Alright, so there is our first layer of resin. You can see the color is beautiful, and it was perfectly fine that we didn't paint it or sand it. Although, like I said, I would suggest it. It just makes it easier. Alright, so while I have the camera going, I have some extra resin. I'm just going to show you, if you can see them. We'll see. Let's see. We'll start with this one. So this is just, I'm putting the last coat of resin on this. And this one is a fabric tumbler. I've had it done for a while. It just needed to be finished. And I didn't do a tutorial on it, but I did just want to show you. I love the fabric on the tumbler, so of course next time I do it I will video it. I've done several of them. It was before I was doing videos, and like I said, sometimes I'm even really bad about just taking pictures because I get excited about what I'm doing. But the fabric really comes out so very nice under the epoxy. And this is the plastic tumbler I did a video on last night. And so I just went in and put the vinyl decal on it. So I thought I would share that, and you could see what it looked like after it spun overnight. I really love that coral glitter from Recollection. Of course, the epoxy is very wet right now. I just put it on. I do expect to probably do a total of 3 coats on this, just because the glitter is so fine and just really packed down in there. There's a good view of the fabric. And there is the resin on plastic tumbler. All right, thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.